What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the Omega Gaming Esports channel. I am Rudu, joined by a very special guest today. We've got It's a Meme You Dip on the caster desk with me this evening, and tonight we're going to be bringing you Omega Gaming Unleashed versus Orbital Gaming Aurora tonight in LHGUL. I'm quite excited for these games, meme, and I'm definitely excited to be casting with yourself.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great time, and we are just getting right into it already. We're already running through pick bands, so why don't you catch us up to speed, Rude?
Of course, we've got Omega Gaming banning away Hecarim, Ashe, and Nunu. And then Aurora banning away Senna, Graves, and Akali, with the first pick of Ezreal for adjustment at the AD carry, and it looks like the answer of a Caitlyn.
Yeah, Caitlin's been really prominent in the meta currently. She's just really, really strong. Her numbers are really, really high, and she's got a lot of value with traps as well as long range finishers. She's just a strong laner, and paired with something like a Morg is just really, really valuable to any team comp.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we definitely have the option of a Morgana being picked up here, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not Unleashed decide to take that away. Typically, Morgana doesn't have the best synergy with Ezreal. We may be looking something more like a Yumi, maybe even just a support that succeeds at roaming, because that also does very well with the Ezreal due to the fact that he can just stand back and farm with the Mystic shots. So definitely a lot of options open to Unleashed, and I don't see the Morgana being too highly contested here, unless they're going to try and pair it up with something else other than this Ezreal itself.
Yeah, and Orbital can look to just basically they know that it's a priority pick, and so they either have to pick it or ban it. But as you said, there's the Yumi coming out, and so what they'll probably choose to do here is not pick it until round two, and that way they force a ban and free up some map pressure elsewhere for surprise picks or counter picks or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility here. I mean, at this point, probably matching jungle is what I would have gone for, and they've opted for the Olaf here. So a lot of early game pressure to try and shut down this Lilia, who's going to be quite squishy early on in the game and can definitely be taken advantage of.
Yeah, and you love to see Yumi Olaf as well. It's a combo that was really prevalent at the start of last season, and it's just something that's been really really strong. It still is really strong. Yumi loves to sit safely on Ezreal up until the time when Olaf can just carry the game 1v9, and she can just hop on him. We do see the Zoe also getting picked. Diana actually getting banned from Orbital Gaming here, and we look towards the next ban from Omega Squad.
Yeah, they're going to try and presumably get rid of some of those support matchups, maybe get rid of that Morgana that we talked about to make the laning phase a little bit easier. Though obviously taking away some safe blind picks in the top lane would definitely be quite beneficial to them as well. They've got obviously the option of taking away a fair few things here, and we'll just get that confirmed for you. So it did look like a Mordekaiser, but it's actually been a Shen ban, in fact, as the guys in the client have informed us nicely. That's a Shen and not a Mordekaiser ban. So lots of top lane priority taken.
Yep. There actually comes the Mordekaiser ban from Orbital Gaming. And actually, it's interesting. I was just thinking about it that
Yeah,
Morg, I don't think they really have to worry about banning Morg because Olaf is just such a strong counter to Morgana. Because even if you get hit with a binding, you proc the Ragnarok and you just still run at her face and run her down, right? And so Morgana maybe not as huge of a priority on the ban list, or maybe they're saying, hey, you know what, we're not choosing to ban that. We're going to give you that. We're going to give you the stronger laning presence, and we're going to look for a counter pick on the top side.
for sure, they're definitely going to go for, like you say, that pick toward the top lane going to come through. Looks like a Swain coming through here, and with the picks already locked in, looks like that should be a support, really, I think.
Yeah, and that's pretty strong. It's Swain has been popping up here and there, and solo queue I've seen it in a few games. It has a lot of lane pressure, especially early, and so if they do look for lane dominance, if he lands a claw on the Ezreal, then he can just pull it in. Kate can trap him, and then it's just wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Back to the lobby with you, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's about as good a synopsis as I could have given for sure. I've definitely been playing my fair amount of Swain support recently, so I'm quite happy with this pickup here. I think it synergizes fairly well with the Caitlyn, with the AD carry pick that they've obviously gone for. So I can see this bot lane being pretty useful and definitely having the ability to do some damages as we get later and later into this game. So looking forward to what they come through with here. And Unleashed picking up the Mundo, picking up the Yone as well. That's a lot of AD
Ooh, it's
coming through
hype.
for Unleashed.
It is a lot of AD. However, if you look at the side of Orbital, they really have no one who can itemize against it, save maybe Swain, and so they can look to go a full AD comp here, and they can get away with it because realistically, there's not a lot of people who can itemize against that. And I'm excited to see the Yone pick, dude. I think that's going to be a spicy pick.
I definitely think so as well. I know that Princeton in the mid lane is quite happy to play these aggressive melee style champions, definitely favouring the Yone. Obviously, I've seen a lot of him play Yasuo as well, typically pairing with the Gragas, but that's by the by in this game. So the Yone should be something that he's feeling fairly comfortable on, should have put the time in, and hopefully we're going to see some, as you mentioned, quite spicy gameplay in the mid lane, because Yone, as with most of these melee assassin style champions, is very, has a lot of flair.
Mm. Really, from the side of Orbital Gaming, we're going to be looking at a lot of lane dominant champions. Especially, I'm looking at bot lane and top lane to look to exert their pressure early, maybe get some kills, create some leads, and scale the game from there. Lilia has a lot of late game scaling potential, but she needs the time to farm up. She's a great clear, but I'm looking forward to seeing that side, as well as I'm looking forward to Omega Gaming. Hopefully, looking to make a little bit of early game pressure with the Olaf, as well as having the late game of insurance of the Ezreal Yumi is just really, really favorable. And I am so excited to see that Yone. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a good game.
It definitely is. Lots of things going well here, and as I give them the ready check so they can start up the in-game client draft. That's my bad right there. But yeah, I think for Unleashed, and this is just for me in general as a caster, as an analyst, as somebody who enjoys League of Legends. I want to see the Olaf go ham in the early game, right? That's definitely where we want to see the prevalence of the champion coming through. And you talked about it a bit earlier, Meme, that with the Yumi on top, this Olaf will scale a little bit better into the late game just because of how easy it'll be for the Yumi to keep the Olaf alive. But I want to see the Olaf get that few Drakes in early, the couple early Drakes, early neutral objectives for Unleashed, and make his presence felt across the map pretty early on.
Yeah, definitely, definitely looking forward and going to keep our eyes on the jungler from Omega Gaming to really, really force his hand in the early game. And however, we'll be looking at the lanes of really, I want to focus on top and bot lane. I think mid lane will be definitely a good matchup, but I think we're really going to be looking for lane presence from Orbital Gaming, from the Camille and the Caitlyn and the Swain for sure.
Yes, so I'm right there with you again that this is all fairly lane focused. I think that top lane. I'm not too sure how Dr. Mundo does in most of these matchups, and versus a Camille specifically, definitely known for her tank shred and the true damage capabilities that she's got. Not quite to the same extent as Fiora, but definitely scales like a monster into the late game and should be able to handle that Mundo fairly early on. And I think as we look across the Unleashed roster, I think it's very obvious that anti-healing is something that should be prioritized very early on.
Yeah, a lot of healing on. They've got healing on literally every champion, especially if Ezreal builds the standard, either Blade of the Rune King or Death's Dance. Yone normally builds a little bit of lifesteal, if I'm not mistaken, and so they've got healing from all five champions. It would not surprise me to see some early itemization towards that. However, one thing I do want to point out as well is that, especially with having another kind of bruiser run you down champion in the Dr. Mundo, Yumi has a second target that has late game scaling, is that Mundo can just run down, the Caitlyn or the Swain or whoever that is, right? And really have that Yumi to back him up. And so if Olaf, for whatever reason, is not in the picture, if he's somewhere else, if he's dead, if they're looking for a 4v5 skirmish, whatever that is, they have that capability with the Yumi to play around the Dr. Mundo a little bit as well.
They definitely do. So a lot of targets for the Yumi to jump on, a lot of safety that can be provided for excuse me, for the Ezreal in the backline as well. So overall, I think I'm quite happy with both of the drafts from both of these teams. I think that Unleashed have sort of established what they want to do, and they've actually drafted around a Yumi quite effectively, or drafted champions that pair well with this Yumi. And then as we look across at Suicide Kings, rather, so that's just my bad, by the way, calling them Orbital Gaming. I don't know where I've picked that name out from. It's definitely Suicide Kings, as you can see the SK tags as well. So apologies
Yeah,
to
I
those
was a little
guys because that's
confused.
the pro draft as well should have told me that one. But either way, I really like their composition that they've picked up for themselves, because this is definitely, it feels to me, has a lot more team fight focus, and potentially that 1-4 with the Camille later on can be really dangerous as we get later and later into the game. And I wonder how you feel about just where either of these team strengths are going to lie.
Yeah, I definitely feel kind of reiterate. I think that the Olaf's early game and the laning phases from Suicide Kings is going to be really, really pivotal. Like you said, I think I'm happy with both of the drafts. If I'm either team and I'm looking at these drafts, I'm saying, okay, I can like this, I can work with this. But what it boils down to now, Rude, is it just boils down to execution. It boils down to can they pull it off? What are you going to prioritize? What areas of the map are we going to prioritize? Are you going to look for early dragons? Are you going to look for scuttles? Are you going to look for rift heralds? What's that going to look like? What are you going to prioritize? And what I think that's going to play a huge factor on this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those are my favorite types of games where, you can look at either of the compositions and go, you could win this game quite easily if you play to your win conditions and play to your strengths. And as you so brilliantly pointed out, that it boils down to the execution of either of these teams. So I think as we've got a couple of minutes left on the spectator delay, what we're going to do is throw it to a short intermission, make sure that me and Meme are all synced up behind the scenes, and then we can bring you game number one between Omega Gaming Unleashed and the Suicide Kings here in LHG. What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Omega Gaming Esports Twitch channel. I am Rudude, joined by the wonderful It's a Me Mew Dip on the caster desk tonight, and we're going to be bringing you the first game right now of Omega Gaming Unleashed versus the Suicide Kings. Not Orbital Gaming, as I mentioned, as they are on the docket for tomorrow's cast, but either way, tonight we've got the Suicide Kings, Omega Gaming Unleashed, and Suicide Kings, they got a 5-man stack going on early on.
Yeah, and we actually see a little bit of action. Camille using the hook shot to try and catch the Yumi out. If that's the case, the Yumi can't bind. Obviously, doesn't have flash, and so potentially they could look for a kill there. However, that is going to be Camille starting with E, which is really not favorable for a level 1 lane matchup. And so that's may impact her a little later. However, I do love to see some spicy level 1 action. So
it's definitely a lot more entertaining than just the standard 5-point, which they now appear to have adopted. I like the effort or the attempt at trying to get something in the early game and trying to find a pick onto a squishy Yumi such as Viscero is this game. Definitely some way to generate an advantage, but Suicide Kings might not quite be finished here. Have a strong level 1 with the Swain passive, but they just don't quite turn the corner, so looks like Unleashed going to be able to get away with this one.
yeah, it looks like they'll just be able to get away with that one and get some deep vision and really pinpoint where that Olaf is early. Because if you can pinpoint where that Olaf is, guess what? He ain't gonna do much, right? You're gonna be able to pick him apart and say, okay, we know he's headed top side, we know he's headed bot side. Wherever he is, we can pinpoint him. So that vision is really, really crucial here early.
Well, that's definitely at least the hope, that when you put vision into the enemy jungle, that you know where the jungler is going to be and you can generally predict the pathing. So hopefully Suicide Kings are going to be able to see that, obviously, just as Samalkram passes that ward on the Raptor bush, I suppose, that he's walking up to the top side, and now the Camille up in the top lane should be feeling fairly comfortable.
Yep, they have a great option, and as well as bot lane, they can look to play a little bit more aggressively here. You can see they're pushing up to the tower at this point, and they can get away with that because they know the Olaf is topside, right? They've got full knowledge of that, and that's such a great ward from Suicide Kings just to give that early information.
Yeah, no fear of a level 3 cheese gank coming through. You know, sometimes you'll see any jungler really just full clear the entire bot side of the jungle and then look for a gank bot lane. But this time around, they know that they are safe from that, as we see a little bit of harassment coming out from Tactics on this Swain.
Yeah, a little bit of back and forth. However, one of the benefits of a pocket Yumi is that you really don't have to worry too much about poke. However, with the recent nerfs to Yumi, she does have a little bit of a mana problem, but you know what? That's still not an issue for this ultra safe lane.
Definitely not. Ezreal Yumi should be fairly comfortable trying to farm up as best that they can. Obviously expecting to take a slight CS deficit early on, but Pink's coming in the mid lane, so Malcolm on this Olaf could be looking for something.
And he does move towards it. However, Alexander looking for the flash. He's got the ignite. He gets first blood down. Well played from Alexander to trade there. However, I'm not sure if the commitment was worth it for the 1-for-1, but pretty flashy outplay.
Yeah, definitely a nice 1-for-1 in the mid lane. Obviously, in those situations, you want to get it pretty cleanly. And down in the bot lane, we also see that Tactics on this Swain landing route after route, definitely putting the pressure on Adjustment and Vicro down here. Adjustment having to burn the flash, actually, to try and get himself to safety. So, overall, a 1-for-1 in the mid lane and established priority down on the bot side for Suicide Kings.
Yeah, and Tactics did blow his ignite on that play as well. And so that is actually a pretty worth. As a support, you'd take an ignite for a flash any day of the week. However, look at that damage coming through. Yumi almost having to drop the heal, having to be blown from Vicro. And Dreadjoker's here. They might look for a dive here.
Yeah, the Caitlyn definitely adept at pushing the wave in. We'll have to monitor the situation. The ward just gone over the wall so that they know Lilia is there. Princeton going to push in the wave and roam down just to provide a little bit of safety, it feels like. More so to dissuade the dive rather than to aid in stopping it in general. Dreadjoker, though, could be caught.
Like it'll happen here. Yeah, Dreadjoker getting caught here, having to flash over the wall. Yone flashing over the wall and catching him. Princeton picking up a kill on Dreadjoker. However, Alexander looking straight. Flash coming in for Smokerum. As he goes in and he blows the red smite on the Zoe. However, Zoe picks up a flash and will just walk away to safety.
Yeah, that is the unfortunate power of Spell Thief there for Sir Malcolm, that as soon as he flashed on Alexander, Alexander knew that he just had to walk to the flash to get one of his own. And once that flash had been established, obviously the Olaf, knowing that had no chase, so Alexander would have been able to just burn that and get it over the wall. Now he's going to have that flash in the lane for a little bit of dominance, maybe to assert a little bit of pressure, but for now at least, he's going to hold on to it and the 2-1 Yone in the mid lane, you know, getting 2 kills early on this assassin-style champion definitely doesn't feel bad for Princeton.
No, he's going to be sitting in a very good spot. He's going to be really, really feeling comfortable right now. And it looks like Smalcrum is actually going to take an early dragon here. He's not sitting on any vision, although potentially Suicide Kings could suss this out. Although the Madman getting really, really low as Sextoy flashes in, trading flash for flash and getting the kill on him there. That is quite the solo kill. And that's really what you want to see from Suicide Kings in this game, is this lane dominance that we talked about, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's Camille versus the Mundo here. Definitely appears to be Camille favoured. I mean, Sextoy up on the top side, he's pretty much working to it flawlessly, getting the solo kill. You cannot ask for anything more from your top laner early on. Now with the level 6 advantage and also teleport priority if they choose to keep it here, definitely can look for some plays around the map and snowball those early lanes even more so than they already are doing.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out is Dread Joker has taken Smalcrum's entire top side of the map, and he's sitting between 2 of their members right now and getting away with a recall for free here after taking the entire top side of Smalcrum's jungle.
And I wonder
really,
if
really strong.
the power farming of Lilia really is coming to fruition there. I just wonder if Smalcrum just assumed that his Gromp was gone, didn't actually check the minimap to see whether it was gone or not, because I feel like that would have been a fairly easy collapse. Just using the Madman here to come on down and get themselves a kill. But either way, the Dread Joker gets away with pretty much daylight robbery right there, taking the Gromp away. So feeling good about that, has now a 3-camp lead over the Olaf, who, you know, to all purposes really should be trying to match the Lilia in this early game in terms of power farming potential, though he did manage to get a Drake for himself.
Yeah, and the Drake will be pretty crucial and important a little bit later if they got to start stacking. Depending on what soul we get, it can be either a mountain or an ocean soul. If it's an ocean soul and you've got a Mundo Olaf with that, that's not going to be pretty. That's going to be a very, very strong combination. However, it just depends on how much of a lane dominance we will continue to see from Suicide Kings. And Adjustment in a little bit of a pickle here. He will just Arcane Shift right out there. However, he takes half of his health in poke.
Yeah, nicely timed Arcane Shift more so than anything to get himself to safety. Because obviously, engaging top.
All right, and it just looks like it's the ult blown from Mundo. Actually, they look like they're still trading a little bit, but looks like it'll diffuse, and it'll just be the ult down for Mundo. Hextech Ultimatum still available for Sextoy, so definitely want to keep an eye on that as he looks to assert dominance. However, Hex Flash coming through from Alexander as he looks to get this bubble down on this Olaf. He does get it off. However, the Ragnarok is procced. 3 members collapsing, though, from Suicide Kings, and Smalcrum will fall for that. Princeton actually kind of in a little bit of a pickle now as they look to continue to chase. However, Sextoy realizes there's no kill to be had and just backs off.
Yeah, and this priority from the bot lane leaking into other lanes right now. The roam from Reeve and Tactics. Oh, doing a lot of work. Bubble hits.
Yeah, bubble hits onto the Mundo. That is a trap. That is a combo. That is a dead Mundo right there.
I love the flash trap from Reeve. That is so aggressive for a Caitlyn player to just flash and trap underneath a sleepy target right there. Princeton going in the mid lane. Could find Tactics.
Right. Close. Oh, and he gets the Ignite off on him, and that is a dead Tactics.
Wow, nice combo from
Princeton.
Yeah, very
really
nice.
Showing up.
Smalcrum.
Yeah, Smalcrum going in. He does steal away the Rift Herald. Will he be able to get it? He will not.
Oh.
Before acquiring it, which is really sad because there's no one on that side of the map to pick it up. So they'll just be able to deny that one for free. However, it does deny Suicide Kings from taking that. But, you know, not getting it is also a big slap in the face. Doesn't feel too good.
No, especially when he was so close to that buff as well. Just picking that up, being able to put it down and essentially secure a kill's worth of gold in turret plates would have definitely been nice.
Looking for something here. The Drowsy does proc on him. Here comes the ult from Caitlyn coming in. Princeton getting really low. Has to flash away. Still has the Fate sealed. Will he use it? He will not. Mundo coming in though, however, running them down with the cleavers. Alexander getting really low. Dreadjoy also really low. And look at that. That is a 2-for-1 trade for the side of Omega Gaming.
Yeah, they get themselves a couple kills back right now, and the Olaf here managing to find some success in the jungle. A little bit of an overstep from the Suicide Kings right there. Dread Joker, Alexander, not respecting the collapse coming out from the chase of Mundo and Olaf. Obviously, the cleavers, the axes, do such a good job at slowing up targets, and if you are unable to dodge those, you are pretty much doomed, really, trying to chase away from those guys. Princeton in the mid lane, though, definitely two levels above of the bot lane here. Probably has a chance with the ultimate coming up soon to maybe go for a 2v1 kill.
Yep, and if he does hit the Fate Sealed on both targets, he could potentially do the 2v1. However, bot lane just looking to back off. Alexander reclaiming his lane and just going to look for some farming here. However, Princeton is roaming down. Dragon is spawned. It is a Cloud Drake. Really, really good for getting some extra ultimate cooldowns.
Oh.
However, adjustment in kind of a bad spot right here. Good flash from him. Smelkrum is chasing after Dread and Tic Tacs. They'll move out. Sleep missing on him. The Ragnarok blown, however. And it looks like they're just going to give this one away. Smelkrum in a bit of trouble here. And it has come through. Oh, you hate to see that one. Oh, however, Princeton stealing the dragon and with the soul unbound will jump back to his body. Well played by Princeton to get in there, squeak in there, and steal that away. Dread Joker did not have smite there, and so that just ends up being a steal for them, and that's really, really good.
Definitely worth the jump on in there, though. Adjustment. He's just going to fall here, unfortunately.
Just going to go down. They're turret diving him in the bot lane, and not much you can do against a Camille Swain when they decide to turret dive you.
No, definitely not. Especially as this Ezreal, who, you know, has a lot of mana to his name, but not too many combat
Steal coming out. Alexander getting really low. Princeton has to jump back with the soul unbound. However, I'm pretty sure he wanted to because he is 1 HP.
Yep, definitely wanted to get back from there. Unfortunately, missing all of the key skill shots there. The third Q, as well as the Fate Sealed, all getting dodged out by Alexander. So that's definitely not what you want to see if you are the Yone. And really well played again by Alexander to use the summoner spells, use the fancy feet to get himself to safety. Because you have to believe if any of those did connect, the follow-up auto attacks and just the damage from them would have been enough to take him down.
Yeah, so let's take a peek at the state of the game right now, Rude. We've got Camille sitting on 3 kills with a Triforce right now. That is a large Camille right now. However, for playing weak side, Madman's actually ahead by about 5 CS right now, which is not a bad place to be in if you're a Mundo, honestly. He is 1-3-1. That's not the ideal score, but still having a decent amount of CS as the Mundo is pretty good. Lilia obviously out farming Olaf. Has her Runic Echoes completed. Yone sitting in the mid lane, 3-1-1. Has just his boots and a Zeal right now. However, I'm assuming that will be turned into a Phantom Dancer here relatively soon. Zoe almost completing her Ludens. We have Caitlyn on a completed Infinity Edge already. And Ezreal with an uncompleted tier item as well as a Sheen. Oh. And Madman just getting blown up by Dread Joker.
This Lilia with the completed Runic Echoes as well. And versus the Mundo, who had the ultimate but has no magic resist. Just going to get absolutely destroyed. It really wasn't even close there. So quick kill for Dread Joker on the Lilia. Going to be happy with that one. And from what you're saying there, I mean, what I'm inferring from your comments is that completed items do a lot more damage than non-completed items. And that says to me that Sextoy, Reeve, Caitlyn, Camille, they're going to be a lot stronger at this point than Adjustment and the Madman are.
Yep. For sure, and they're going to be looking to exert that pressure. We've seen the lane dominance that we asked for. We have both of those carries that we talked about being 3-0-0, and actually Princeton getting really, really low there. However, Smelkrum will block the Caitlyn ace in the hole, and yeah, he'll live. Princeton will live to see another day.
Yeah, gets out just about by the skin of his teeth. Obviously, Yuumi sitting on top of the Yone for a little bit right there, and Sextoy jumping in the bot lane, and now trying to just trade back and forth, but Madman definitely coming out worse end of these trades with the Thornmail rush. I'm not sure that I agree with the complete rush with that. Maybe the Bramble Vest into other items to defend against the attack speed, but going to be reflecting a lot of damage nonetheless.
Yep, and we're actually at a almost 5k gold lead for the side of Suicide Kings. This is a very strong state for them to be in right now, and they're really exerting that lane dominance. However, Alexander in a little bit of a weird spot. Princeton picking up another kill. He's now 4-1-1, completed Phantom Dancer. That is a strong Yone as well. That's not something to be underestimated.
No, definitely not. There's always this potential win condition that Unleashed have drafted for themselves, this potential Yone win con, and Princeton maybe caught out Dread Joker.
Dread Joker casting the sleep. Princeton, however, using the Souls Unbound to deny that CC, and Adjustment having to shift out as well as some pressure from Tic Tacs and Reeves. So Tactics, not Tic Tacs. Oh, and the Mundo actually getting the solo kill on the Camille. That is not something you want to see if you're Suicide Kings.
Oh, I mean, that Thornmail clearly doing work, and Princeton goes in the mid lane.
Princeton going in, shutting down Reeve as well. Both carries just getting shut down in a small window there, and Dread Joker maybe looking for a flank, but is going to back off as he realizes, you know, my carry's dead.
I mean, that out of nowhere it feels like, you know, we talked about that 5k gold lead has now been pretty much halved here by Unleashed, and all of the kills going toward the Yone and this Mundo, obviously with the solo kill, but Princeton being that win condition, getting more and more kills, going to feel really nice.
Yep, they are definitely going to be liking those picks for sure, because Princeton really getting really strong on this Yone, and so really excited to see what he can do with this lead that he's accrued in this bounty, and as he looks to continue to assert that, they will get a third dragon here, and that will put them on Soul Point, which is a really favorable place for them to be in, as that causes a lot of pressure. However, Madman in the mid lane, getting caught out, does not have the flash available. Hextech Ultimatum traps him down. Ace in the hole, gonna come through, and he will finish him off.
Yeah, nice clean pickup in the mid lane for the Suicide Kings. 5 members strong now. Have just picked up the Herald, and Dread Joker drops that down. Definitely going to be 2 turrets here falling, and we'll have to see how hard they go for the second charge. But they've definitely got the advantage here with 4 members versus 5 in favour of the Suicide Kings here. Going to just probably get this charge off and then look to recall. Princeton
has gone in with a face on steel. They are very low. However, Yumield's coming in. Tactics gonna have to flash away, and at the end of the day, it looks like a 0-for-0 trade.
Yeah, just a lot of ults burned and a lot of, I guess, flexing. TP. Oh, here comes the TP though, Madman on the flank.
Madman coming in, he's going on to Alexander. Alexander does have the Spell Thief's flash available, but he will just walk away from this one as he does still have it. Madman, however, just running him down with the Yuumi. Look at him just tanking all the turret shots. And nothing's happening. They're just gonna pressure the turret.
Yeah, he can tank all the turret shots that he wants with Vicro there, as well as the ultimate on top. So a lot of potential to not die to the dive, but obviously they had to get on top of Alexander as well, which just definitely isn't going to be possible with one flash of his own, and then also the stolen flash, which is the one that he ended up needing to use. A lot of disengaged potential, but this bot lane now, Sextoy, Dread Joker, they could be slightly caught out. Vicro could be looking for a fight.
Dread Joker looking to engage, however the Drowsy comes out, and they will not be able to catch them. They'll be able to walk away scot-free, taking that tier 2 tower. And so you just see, you know, that engage in the mid lane, and they have this rebuttal in the bot lane to take this bot tower, and I think that's a win on the side of Suicide Kings.
Yeah, definitely is. They, you know, trading very favorably. They lose a player, or rather they lose a player mid lane, right, and then lose the dragon, but they turn that loss of a player into a Rift Herald, and with that hit Rift Herald they secure not only 2 turrets mid lane, but also the tier 2 bot lane, as well as getting a free kill on the Madman in the mid lane as well. So really making the best of the bad situations. You know, sometimes these quick catches don't always go your way, but in this instance they definitely made the most of it, and so Malcolm could be in a little bit of trouble here. Should Tactics look for anything? Gonna miss on that route.
That's a whiff. That is a good setup, however. Smalcolm did have Ragnarok available there, and Madman was right there in case anything went a little bit askew, and so not really in too much trouble. But we are getting into later stages of this game, and the later we go here, the scarier this Ezreal is going to get with all of his poke, as well as Yone has a lot of late game scaling potential, and of course Yuumi Olaf is never a thing to be underestimated in this game.
No, a lot of a lot of late game, I feel like on both sides as well. You know, there's no way you can deny, obviously, Lilia, Camille, as well as just the one-shot potential from a Zoe, and Caitlyn as well. When you're 4-1, is going to be quite a bit ahead of the curve here. Obviously, he's down 10 CS, but with the 4 kills, definitely ahead in gold, and Malcolm could be caught here, just going to be able to Blast Cone on away. Feels like for Unleashed that they need to secure themselves this Mountain Soul to even be able to keep themselves level. Because at this point, the Olaf really is going to feel like just a paperweight to try and cut through. Especially if you're Camille, especially if you're Caitlyn. Because his build has got Ninja Tabby in it, and that is all that there is in terms of armor or defensive toward the AD style.
Yeah, it's not the Ocean Soul that we had talked about earlier. It is the Mountain Soul. Mountain Soul, definitely not a bad soul, but still not as valuable as the Ocean Soul. And so playing that win condition might not be as easy as one might say. However, Sextoy is just going to hook shot out of there. No kill found there.
And Dread Joker roaming down through the river as well, just in case anything was to transpire there, but obviously Unleashed recognizing that they have no vision, and with the lack of vision means that they have no information on the enemy members, and they seem to be a little bit worried about the Baron threat that could have been happening, though was not merited, unfortunately, as the match was there to the bot lane play. Now just Suicide Kings Unleashed fighting for mid lane priority, and as you would imagine with 4K to the good, Suicide Kings definitely have that advantage. Drake spawning in about 20 seconds. Remember, this is Soul Point for Unleashed, and unsurprisingly, Suicide Kings are here and they're ready to contest.
Yeah, they've set up the area completely. Madman taking a little bit of poke. They do have a lot of poke just with the Zoe. Always potential just for a Zoe one-shot. And Zoe just sitting on a pink ward very, very wisely. Looking to get mid-priority again here, pushing that out. And we're doing a dance back and forth between the two teams. Madman, however, potentially looking for a flank here. He is alone, and so he does need to be careful here. However, those cleavers are doing quite a bit of poke damage, and so they do need to be very, very careful not to get poked out by this. This will be a huge 5v5 team fight as they go in. Everybody is blowing up. Smelcom already dead. Huge fade sealed by Princeton, and that will, however, he will drop. Tactics getting really low. Madman just going on the back line. Reeve dying. Everybody's dying. Sextoy is so low. However, Alexander from the back line will hit the bubble onto Ezreal as Madman continues to chase down with the cleavers. Going back and forth. He's moving. He's still going. Will he be able to hit these cleavers? They're going to be so crucial. And the Blast Cone is coming out of there. However, that cleaver does not hit. They will choose to probably just back off in this situation.
Yeah, but the important thing here to note is that the Dragon is still alive. 2 members versus 1 here. Unleashed definitely favouring themselves to try and go for this. Though you have to think that Alexander's burst potential is going to be much higher than that of a Mundo. That being said, Sir Malcolm and the Yone also walking from base. Respawn timers aren't that long, 20 minutes into the game, and here come the teleports. Here come the rest of Unleashed.
Adjustment, TPing in, however, getting immediately drowsied. He will, however, be completely fine. So Malcolm just flashing into the pit saying, nope, this is my dragon. And he's taking that. Princeton on the backside. Alexander forcing to flash there. I believe that was the spell seed flash. However, a huge fight breaking out again. Madman is really low. He will drop. So Malcolm just trying to get out of there at this point because there are 4 members chasing him down. However, Alexander on the backside also getting chased down by 3 members. He will drop to the Ezreal as well. However, so Malcolm will trade his life for that. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 trade on the back end of that extended team fight around Dragon.
Yeah, so for Unleashed, that is pretty much goal achieved, right? They secure themselves the Mountain Dragon, and all told, I believe, about a 5-for-5 overall. So, you know, in exchange of the initial Drake and then that follow-up afterwards, they get themselves the even trading kills and also the objective. Mountain Soul acquired means that now, trying to contest this Baron, they'll have a lot more easy time trying to get their way in. Unleashed, Princeton.
Fade Skilled going in. Princeton actually just destroying Tactics and Reeve. He's going to snap back to Sextoy here as well. He's full health, and he's just ripping and shredding through Suicide Kings. Princeton coming up huge in that fight.
Yeah, and you talked about this Yone being the win condition for Unleashed here. Game number 1, he's showing up absolutely massive on the Yone. Hasn't even got 2 completed items yet, but has found no trouble trying to demolish the backline of Suicide Kings. And with no contest, rather, well, members advantage for Unleashed, you have to think that this Baron should be theirs. 4 versus 2. Alexander trying to poke across the wall. Dread Joker has got flash and has got the ability of the Blast Cone to get on in. Respawn's coming through as well. Here goes Princeton.
Princeton dives in. Alexander has his flash blown, and that is his summoner flash. However, he will walk away from that. They're still poking away. Dread Joker on the line, looking for a 50-50 here. Who's going to take it? It will actually be Dread Joker with the Smite Steal flashing over the wall, and he's going in now with the Sleepy. Going in. Madman on the back line here. looking for a little bit more. Alexander very, very low. However, Madman will not be able to kill him. However, Adjustment getting a double kill there on the back end of that fight. Oh, actually, triple kill. He almost, if that stopwatch hadn't gone through, that would have been a quadra kill. However, Vikra will fall as well. And that is a win overall for Suicide Kings as they completely negate any opportunity they had there, stealing the Baron and getting the full ace.
Yeah,
It's a
and
big win.
that is a huge win for Suicide Kings. They deny Unleashed the Baron after they really should have been able to secure it there. The 50-50 comes through, and with Dread Joker's flash, obviously the steal comes on through. With the 2-level lead that Dread Joker had, feels much less like a 50-50. More so, just get it in the range of the Lilia, and the Lilia is going to take it away from Sir Malcolm on this Olaf. That being said, 2 Barons remaining on the Suicide Kings here, one of which is probably in the best spot in the world on this Camille, because she's going to be able to take it to a side lane and really dominate the split push versus this Mundo, hopefully, for the Suicide Kings. And then similarly, they've got one left on Tactics on this Swain, who is likely going to be sat mid lane and sat with the Siegers of the Suicide Kings squad here. Caitlyn and Zoe going to be pretty valuable in a siege situation.
Yep, and as you say that, we do have a recall coming out from Sextoy. He's probably going to be buying a few big items here. I'm interested to see how much gold he has if he's recalling. He does just get a call fields. He's working towards that Death's Dance, which will make him just a dueling machine and make him really, really strong in team fights, allowed to survive for even longer. And so that's a really, really strong item that we should keep our eyes peeled on for when he gets that.
Yeah, Death Dance is just such a strong item in the meta right now. It feels like so many people should be taking it, and I feel like literally if you have AD in your kit and you're not a crit marksman, and even if you are a crit marksman sometimes, the Death Dance just feels like such a crucial part of your build path these days that not taking it, you just feel like you're trolling, and you'll probably see Adjustment pick one up pretty soon. Obviously, has had to spend a fair bit of gold in terms of situational items here. Secured the Executioner's Calling, the QSS on top of that, because the double drowsy composition here is definitely going to be rather irritating for an Ezreal, as well as the fact that Princeton here is actually fighting Dread Joker.
Yep, a lot of damage coming out. Fate Sealed will not hit. He will dash back. Dread Joker there as well, actually getting chunked out. However, mid lane is just going down as they look towards the bot lane here. That's not ideal because Princeton's just sacrificing all this mid lane priority. And Suicide Kings getting an inhibitor turret there. Alexander still continuing to poke. However, Yuumi negating a lot of that. Dread Joker looking in the bot lane for a little bit more here as they look for a 4-1 split right now. However, Dread Joker's just going to drop there. A little bit of an overstep. However, they will push towards this mid inhib, but I don't think they want this fight anymore as it is a 5v4. Omega coming in. Stopwatch coming out from Tactics. And there goes everybody. Reeve is already down. Tactics getting really low. Tactics getting chunked out. It is only Sexto, I believe, left with the Baron at this point, if Baron has not expired already, which I think it does.
I mean, that's just a huge overstep from Suicide Kings, right? They had such a strong advantage going in. They had the potential to play a really nice split push style with that Baron. Adjustment with the Sleepy, going to be able to keep himself safe with the minions and Vikro on top. But the Unleashed defending the base right there. They don't lose an inhibitor. Yes, they lose a turret, but there's no extra pressure from some super minions spawning. 30 seconds left before the Elder Drake spawns. And they're going to have complete priority, and they're going to be able to dictate what happens around this Drake, because we've seen it time and time again. In a 5v5, Unleashed are actually going to be able to take this fight if all of their cooldowns are available and if they play it well enough. But Sextoy's here.
Sextoy's here. Hextech Ultimatum coming down onto Adjustment. Adjustment getting really low. However, the Yuumi just barely keeping him alive. Alexander, Dread Joker, and Sextoy will look here. That's a double sleep on 2 members of Omega Squad Gaming. Fate Sealed coming through onto 3 members. That's a huge win for Princeton. Princeton just cleaning up this fight. Madman coming in. He's got the TP. He's running onto Dread Joker. However, Tactics has slain Princeton. Yuumi Ultimate coming down onto Tactics. Tactics dropping really low. Traps coming out for Reeve. However, Reeve is just going to get run down here by this Mundo. Flash away. Nimbus Cloak is procced. He's moving very fast. However, not fast enough because Mundo's going to come and get you. And so they will take the Elder Dragon as their prize.
You would like to think so here. So Malcolm still alive, does have that smite available, but it's going to be important for Unleashed to zone away this Lilia. Deadman's play being built up for the Lilia means that she's so incredibly difficult to catch. It's so slippery on this champion, but the Madman wisely sitting in the mid lane, making sure that he can see the Lilia come through, and Dread Joker not giving anything over to Unleashed here. Going to just go straight for the Elder Drake, and Unfortunately, Princeton isn't going to be able to secure that buff, but either way, there's still a huge buff for Unleashed and a huge win overall in the team fight.
Yep, a very, very huge win. And on top of that, Sextoy actually TP'd to the bot lane there, thinking that potentially he was going to try and go for a steal or something. I'm not sure, but that's a TP blown on the side of Suicide Kings there, and so that is a big net win. And I don't know if you've noticed, Rude, but the gold difference is non-existent pretty much at this point. We got 200 gold that separates these teams right now.
Exactly, 200 gold at 30 minutes is next to negligible at this point. And with the Baron spawning in just about 15 seconds here, neither team particularly has any established priority around it. Princeton looking for Dread Joker in the top lane, maybe Madman looking for Sextoy on this Camille. Remember, this is an Elder buffed Mundo, doesn't have to necessarily kill the Camille to full. Only 25-20% of the HP needed before that execute comes through. And Dread Joker, he's on the wrong side of the jungle right now.
However, like you said, this Dead Man's Plate with Lilia is just so slippery, Rude. He can just get it, weave his way in and out of your jungle. He says, you know what? I'm just going for a stroll this way. You can take a hike.
I mean, this is just the... I guess that is the power of Lilia with all of this armor built up as well, that whilst she's obviously not going to feel too much threat from these champions, is also able to run away. But look at the mid lane right now. Madman pushing bot lane against Sextoy. Unleashed trading the Baron here for, it looks like, the mid lane inhibitor. And potentially even more. Adjustment taken very low, but Princeton goes over the back line.
Princeton goes over the back lane, taking down Alexander. However, potentially Suicide Kings is just looking for the end here. They're not going to be able to get it, though, as they will get the empowered recall from the side of Omega Gaming. They will only take one Nexus Tower. Tactics looks like he wants more. He's calling for more.
Oh.
However, Princeton is on his way in. They're all coming back here. Princeton being the first to arrive, and nothing will come of this.
No, they get a turret and they get a Nexus, or they get an inhibitor rather, and a Nexus turret. That's definitely nice for Suicide Kings, but now they have to contend with the Baron push. They also have to contend with Madman on this flank coming from the bot lane.
Yeah, Madman is coming in, looking for Tactics. Cleaver misses, however. Slow coming through from Dread Joker. However, Princeton getting the knockup onto Tactics. Tactics flashing away, casting the ult, using the stopwatch. Healing up for a lot right now, but it's just not going to matter because the Elder is still active on Madman, and Madman will get the Elder execute on him.
Yeah, and this is the opportunity that Unleashed have been waiting for. They have just a few seconds left on this Elder Drake, and they might be able to, with this Baron, push on through and maybe secure more than Suicide Kings did. It looks like they're going definitely for an inhibitor here, and maybe with the Baron up minions, they might try and go for some turrets.
Yep, Elder Drake has expired on all the members of Omega Gaming. However, they are still really strong, and the scaling from the Ezreal. However, the two-man sleep coming out from Dread Joker already down. Princeton going in, not really getting anything for that. He still does have the Fate Sealed, however. This has not been used yet, and they will just choose to back off at this point, as they don't want to they don't overcommit. They just want to take the inhib, and that's it. That's all we're taking.
Yeah, that seems pretty wise for me, obviously. Trying to push into a Caitlyn when you've got a Lilia dancing around you and with all the traps all over the place. Definitely not very easy, we'll say, for the side of Unleashed there. So not taking off more than they can chew, and definitely with the appropriate level, get themselves the inhibitor, and they get themselves a nice advantage and neutralize the mid lane priority here. Super minions for both sides means that it's effectively evened out as Princeton goes in mid.
Princeton looking for a little bit on Dread Joker. However, the Soul Unbound will snap him back towards the Raptor camp there. One thing to note here is that Princeton is on 4 completed items comparatively to Alexander, who is only on 2.5. He almost has the Rabadons completed, but that is a very, very strong Yone.
Yeah, you're so correct, and it's Princeton who's been winning these team fights for Unleashed with massive Fate Sealeds and massive combinations of the Yone ulti on top of the axes, on top of the cleavers, and most importantly on top of the final chapter from Vicro, and also the True Shot Barrage from Adjustment. You know, the Season 10 effectively wombo combo of Yuumi Yone coming to full fruition in these team fights, and fighting in these corridors hasn't favoured Suicide Kings whatsoever, so look to them to maybe try and fight in a more open area, somewhere they've got a bit more navigation around the team fights, and be able to find something a little bit more successful. Dread Joker looking for Madman, but this is a very tanky Mundo.
Yeah, he's a very tanky Mundo, also very hard to catch if you don't get a sleep on him. They were looking for a pick there, couldn't really find it. However, Tactics and Reeve in a really bad spot here as Madman is just going to run down Reeve. Reeve flashing away, but they've put themselves in a really awkward position here. Madman is still just going to keep going. True Shot Barrage actually doing a lot of Reeve's health. They find Tactics. Madman finds Reeve, and that is a 2 for none. And Lilia actually stuck on the backside here, going to get bursted down as well. Adjustment is on a killing spree as they look to close this game out.
Yeah, with 3 members dead, surely this is going to be it here. Game number 1 should go the way of Unleashed. Alexander doing the best that he can, has that completed Rabadons, but the numbers are just so far in Unleashed favour. They need to wait for the wave coming up mid lane. Sextoy jumps in.
Gets exhausted, face seal coming out onto Sextoy. Sextoy is just blown up. And Alexander still poking from the side there, but the Madman is going to block that Sleepy Trouble bubble damage. And they're just going to look to end the game here. Omega Gaming taking it home here. Alexander on the backside, just getting poked out. But the Nexus is just going down. And that is a game for Omega Gaming Unleashed.
And a really well played performance right there. And pretty much, it looked quite rough at certain points. There were a couple of situations in that game where they were 5,000 gold down, which is a sizable disadvantage to be at. But they managed to come back and they managed to secure the neutral objectives. The Mountain Dragon, the Baron, and the Elder Dragon as well. All of them pivotal in the securing of this victory. And say what you will about the difference between the levels between the junglers, but Samalcrum secured those neutrals. And with the steal as well on one of I believe the second Cloud Dragon that spawned really, from Princeton going back and in and out and in and out, that steal really did set them up for great success.
Yeah, you love to see it. You love to see how hard they work to, especially not only get that Mountain Soul, but also to get that Elder Drag that really, really pushed them towards this win. And definitely Samalcrum, he may have lost that 50-50 at Baron, but just played around objectives extremely well. Princeton, of course, being the star player of the show and really, really popping off and showing the prowess of his Yone. And, maybe that's worth a ban next time from Suicide Kings.
Definitely is. And with that being said and done, we are going to throw it to a short intermission just while we get ourselves ready for game number 2. So don't go anywhere, guys. We've got the second game of this best of 3. Still all to play for in this series. Unleashed are by no means over the closing line yet. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that browser. We will be right back.